So my name is Sylvie, and I work at Belgian Mobile ID. So that's the company behind It's Me. I don't know if some of you know already It's Me. It will help me about the information I will give. And I hope that I will tell you some things that you don't know yet. So at Belgian Mobile ID, what I do is actually brand identity. So I'm into identity, but especially brand identity, communication and marketing, because it's important that we can explain to the citizen, to the client, to the user, to the member, what is a digital identity. Since the start, so 2016, I started at It's Me, we were saying that digital society needs a digital identity. It's an important key. We've added in 2019 the fact of being inclusive. So it's a lot of times security by design, privacy by design. Most of the time I add also design by design because it's quite very funny. But now we do also inclusivity by design. And I will share with you the way that we're doing it. And I'm very happy to be here for 2 days. So if you want to challenge me on some topics, you know where to find me. So identity has been moving, of course, for a few years. I think we all started with that kind of login. Some of the logins are still the same, login and password. UX a little bit better, or maybe only UI. But it has evolved with time. We have now also social profiles. Digital identity can be more than just a login and a password, or our identity or our credentials. It can be also pictures, it can be movies, it can be articles, it can be a lot. And that's a little bit the issue that we have today. It's a lot. Because we're moving to a world that is even more connected than today. We are logging into our cars with our smartphones. Sometimes we say our fridge. That never happened to me. It's only Uber Eats that works with me. So we are hyper-connected, and we will move to a world where identity is even more crucial as today. But how are we going to do that? It's evolving also. Technology is evolving. We have IoT. It needs to be more secure. It needs to be more private. It needs to be more inclusive. Very nice innovations on the road. But what does a citizen want? Well, we asked him and her. So the question was raised in June 2020. So just to put it back into time. We all had, well, a first lockdown, so we knew what it was to go fully digital. We had to work from home. I had to do webinars without seeing people. It was just horrible. But we also learned that a lot of things could be done just in a digital way, and it works very fine, especially with the government when you need to go to have a paper. Before, you had to take some holidays or a few hours off to go and get it. Now you can just do it online. And we asked Belgian and the Dutch guys, what are you thinking? What if we go fully digital? Would you like it? I was personally surprised because we also, from Belgium, always see the Netherlands as very digital. But Belgian people were more inclined to go fully digital. Well, 6 out of 10 say, what I can do something in the digital world, I will just do it. Of course, having an appointment at the doctor, buying a house, and stuff where you need a personal interaction and advice still needed to be in real life, what is logical. But they said that we want to go digital, but it needs to be easy to use, it needs to be secure, and it needs to be transparent. So these are the stuff that actually I would like to share with you, how others are doing it. They're very simple, and I'm sure that you all know it, but it's always nice to see it again. The first example, Amazon Go. We all say we know it, never did it myself, but you know it's the shop where you identify yourself at the beginning, so you're not at a smart checkout anymore, but the smart check-in. You just go into the shop, you take all your stuff, and then you walk out. Actually, there is a lot of technology in that shop, but you don't see it. It looks like a normal shop, like a regular shop. So that's all about technology. And I don't say that too much often in the office because we have a lot of guys and girls working on technology, and that's, you know, the big thing. But technology should not be seen. You need to have a product where there's a user experience that is improved. And what they also saw at Amazon Go, that it was a little bit too disruptive at the beginning. People were a little bit afraid to go out. Of course, Amazon told us for years it's a one-click checkout. They removed the one-click. So, well, in the beginning, it was a little bit too difficult, but now people are used to it. So just keep in mind, customer experience is the most important, and use the technology that you have to make it happen. The second one that I always found very interesting is to see how Airbnb actually launched a business where, well, before it never worked. Because Airbnb doesn't have hotels, they don't own rooms, they cannot sell rooms to you because they know the quality. And they don't have a club with members because we are the users of Airbnb. We're not a member of a club, so there are no rules for the members. So they created actually trust between these two people that don't know each other. We own a room, an apartment, a house, a castle, and boats. We trust Airbnb to put it online on their platform. And we are also a client. We trust Airbnb with our holidays. We are sure that we will book a room, we will book a boat, or we will book a castle, and that we will have a stay, and we don't need to reach out to a hotel when we arrive there. So Airbnb was able to create trust between all these people all around the world, because it's quite broad, and just in the digital world. So I think there are also very nice things that we can learn from them. And then removing, of course, friction points. I don't know, but I just hate to call cabs. It happened to me a lot of times in cities where just call cabs, it never works, not on TV, not on the cinema. But Uber just removed all these frictions, removing the friction of calling a cab, removing the fact that you need to tell where you are. When you're at home, it's quite easy, but when you're abroad and you don't know what's the street or the number, it's a difficult one. Also, you don't need to pay. You know, the easy checkout, what we had a little bit before, maybe difficult at Amazon, but at Uber, it was okay to just step out of the car. I had it a lot of times. The card is not working, so you need to have cash. I never have cash. And last but not least, also when you're very happy about your driver or unhappy about your driver, you can say it. Well, they rate you too. I saw that, that as a client, you're also rated into the car. But the fact of Uber, they just removed all the barriers that we have, the frustration and so on. They just removed it. And then last but not least, the fourth one that I really like is transparency. I think when you want to create trust, transparency is very important. That is Uber Eats, that is Airbnb, that is all the other ones. At each step, they tell you everything went fine. It's okay. That's step number one. Step number two, when something goes wrong, they just tell you in a very transparent way. I'm not sure it's always true, but anyway, they just tell you something went wrong. Let's go back to the first step. Or when you just delivering, your food, you just see your delivery is okay, they're wrapping your food, they're preparing your food, then it's on their way, that's the name of the driver. So they give you a lot of information, so you are trusted with their service. So of course, we try to apply that at ourselves too, because we really think that when you have a digital ID, it's a key to unlock some other businesses, to unlock a better business, a better government, and better interaction. But it's just technology. So what we're doing at IDme, actually, we're not a big data player. We are not doing identity. What we want to do is make sure that you can share your data in a very secure and in a transparent way. So around our digital identity, we have created 4 services. So the first one is the fact that you can register, you can create an account, you can become a client of a bank, you can also share the data to buy an air ticket, because IDme is used in different sectors in Belgium, for the government sector, but also the private sector, for insurances, for travel, for health. So the first one is that you can share data. You can say, okay, this is my identity data. Sometimes you just share only your phone number because you don't need to share more. Sometimes you share all your ID data. Once you have create your account, you just can log in with IDme. No need to have a username and a password anymore. It's the same key. You just can come in and log in. It's a passwordless login or it's a multi-factor login. You have a lot of authentication ways to say it. And the third one is actually the same as the first 2 ones, but we add context. So when you say, I want to confirm, it can be confirming a payment or a subscription or a change in your subscription. You will add context. So we are sure that your client, when he asks for a changement, that he gives a real consent and he knows what he's consenting to, because here also transparency is key. And the last one that we created in 2019 is a qualified electronic signature. So you can also sign a contract or buying a house. So with our partners, as I said, we have around 150 partners that are using IDme as a digital identity and around 350 to use it as a signature method. We go with them with their customer journey. What are you doing today? And we just see where IDme can accelerate, make more secure, or make it better. We're not changing, actually, the user experience. We just try to make it better or faster. So you have the different moments where an IDme transaction will pop up where you need to have an action. to make sure that we have also that our partners, our clients can be, complying to legal standards. We also did our job. So we started with the bottom one, of course, ISO 27001. But we are making sure that everything that we develop do also comply to the financial world, because in comparison to IDIN, banks are using ITSME, so they're not selling ITSME, but they're using ITSME in their own channels. So of course we need to be AML compliant so that you can open a bank account using your digital ID. Also in PSD2 flows, we have strong customer authentication. And then more in the world of identity, of course, ADAS, we're level of assurance high for Belgium, and we have a qualified trust service provider. And GDPR, actually, it's the most easiest one, I would say, because we always say which data is shared for which transaction. So we started in 2017, May 2017, the app was launched. We had some important milestones. So the first one was when the banks started using ITSME, that was end 2017, and the telecom operators. And then in January, we were recognized by the Belgian government. So we had a royal decree saying what kind of legislation, what kind of levels you need to be able to comply to be a digital identity. And we also see, so from January 2018 till now, what's the impact of a digital identity on e-government. We see that the number of transactions at e-government has also risen quite a lot. ITSME is today the first login method, so we have surpassed our Belgian EID cards. And then, end of 2019, we were recognized on European level. So that's the Belgian logins that we saw a little bit before on Koen's presentation, that Belgium has a peak. So that's since that moment. Or we have a lot of Belgium living abroad, I don't know, but they're using actually also ITSME because we are on the ADAS nodes. And then an important milestone also for us is the first step cross-border. So we were looking a few years ago for the right KYC for Dutch and also other documents. So we found them actually in the Netherlands. So now ITSME is also available for Dutch identity. So you can use your EID card or you can use your passport to onboard. The usage is still limited now because we're opening up and we're starting in the Netherlands. And as you see, it's actually this morning I had an email, it's 5.4 million users. I think you all recognized the peak of this summer because we log in with ITSME at our COVID Safe app. So that's the peak that we have. But we see that the number of usage still follows that new trend. With our partners, we're saying having one identity means that you can be consistent. Ritual is very important. If you can log in with ITSME at your bank, you can log in at all the partners. Or at the government, it's always the same. So having always the same step, it's important because then you feel confident. You know, well, your 3 steps, always the same, and it does work. It's also important to have the same identity, the different channels. You start, for example, on a website, you go to an app, and then you go to another screen. It's important, it's the same person, it's still me. Don't ask me again for my credential. Don't ask me again what is the kind of login that I want to have. And so that's the thing that we're doing with our partners. What is the issue they want to solve, how they are working, what is the user experience, and how ITSME can actually improve their way of working. So we are centralized identity. I know it's sometimes one of the questions. We are indeed a centralized identity. So we capture the data during the KYC of the app. And it's the identity that we will share in the transactions. But we will evolve because we know that it's not only the identity, we have driving license, we have our COVID safe certificates that is now very much in, but we have financial records, we have health records. So these are all the attributes around our identity. And we have decided that this one will never be in our database. So we were now working on a hybrid model, of course, to be ready for the wallet that ADAS is also talking about. But now we are working how we can connect actually to these databases, to these sources, and to make sure that the data is transferred in a very secure and transparent way. So that's the work that we are doing now with the whole ecosystem because it's something that we cannot do alone. We are very happy that ADAS is also evolving that way. So we will have trusted data sources because that's always very difficult. So that's the way we are going to evolve in the future. And if you have some other questions or some, for me or for my colleague, because I came together with my colleague David, I'm very happy to answer them.
Are there any questions? Before you're going to ask a question, I forgot my mic. And there he is.
So I onboarded with IDsme with my Dutch passport, and then I tried to log into Dutch sites, but none of the Dutch sites were accepting me via the IDs scheme. So I was a little bit confused there.
Because it's the Belgian government that recognized IDsme as their official identity. In the Netherlands, we are still waiting on some laws to make it happen. I think so.
They are managing expectations.
Managing about the ADAs, yes, I know, because ADAs, the first version that we have, was not built with cross-country identities.
We're managing my expectations.
Your expectation, we'll make it happen.
Any other questions? No? Well, one. What?
If you go to the wallet idea, then it's not just about identity, right? It's about much more attributes. So you showed the 4 things you guys do now, but are you planning to, add stuff on that, right? Do more, share more about me than my name, etc.
Yes, that's the one that we're evolving to. Today we're just reading the whole ADAS because there are a lot of things that are not in line with each other, so we try to find out in which way it will go. But that's the way that we're moving to. So we want to have different data sources, and data sources can come from everywhere. So we first need to see where they are, and then how we can connect with them.
So any idea how to do that?
I'm just doing the brand identity. It's a very difficult one, and that's why we're all working with other partners, because making things compatible and also making sure that when the data arrives at the other side, they can read it out. Because I don't know how many standards they exist. I think standards evolve with time, and it's the one who wins that becomes a standard. But it's a very difficult challenge. How we make sure that people understand what they're doing and that it's trustworthy.
Well, maybe one topic on the board for the conference this afternoon, Sylvie. So again, applause for Sylvie. Thank you.
Thank you.